so I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The pink sheet has the special meeting minutes that we had for treasurer replacement. Looked at that and entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any questions, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Motion carried. Have you had a chance to look at the agenda? Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Supervisors report. I don't have wait a second. We got a public comment. I always like to skip over that because everybody always crucifies me during that time. That's not good. That's not true. You people are very gracious. Public comment on agenda items only. Yes, ma'am.
Penny Bassett, Maple Valley. I see under new business it says playground equipment for Coral Park. Has been a survey yet? Anything on a survey? If you guys are gonna be discussing that, has the survey taken place or quotes or anything on it?
Discussing that.
We'll be discussing that.
And that's in with that? Okay, just wanted to make sure that there was something going on with the survey before you guys
Yep.
made plans to put equipment there on something we don't know is ours. Thank you.
Mrs. Olson. Forgot your first name. Sherry.
I took my tag off, sorry, show up to them. I just wondered if we could add something to the new business about looking into the Met Tower when that is up.
Decommission,
That is
it is,
at the planning commission.
Oh, is it?
That's at the planning commission meeting that would be taken care of.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Supervisors report. I have very little to report. Except that our new treasurer has moved very smoothly into a position. Thank you very much. There's been a little bit of destruction in the Coral Park, and we have not much we can do about that until probably later this week. That's really all I have. Doesn't sound like I did much, but there's stuff going on.
What happened at the park?
Huh?
What happened at the park?
Oh, it looks like a little bit of paint, that someone did some, like they poked the ceiling on the pavilion. Fortunately, we have surveillance equipment coming. And she'll probably talk more about that in her clerk's report. That's all I have. If we could have the treasurer's report, Brandon. Your first time.
My first time, so bear with me. We have the general fund with a beginning balance of $938,515.59. We had income of $13,306.50 with debits of $42,198.84. That gave us an ending balance of $909,623.25. In the ARPA funds, we have we had a beginning balance of $140,407.83. We had income of $57.65 with debits of $3,615. So it gave us an ending balance of $136,850.48. We do have a cemetery trust CD at Community First, which I am trying to find out a little more information on. It has a balance of $703.61. We We also have a fire equipment CD at Community First of $34,000, $34,003.25. We have a general fund CD, I'm told, at Fifth Third of $107,552.77. I have no information or no statements on that account. I am trying to get more information. We have a cemetery trust at Independent Bank CD of $9,757.24. We have a cemetery trust CD at Independent Bank. I just misspoke. That $9,000 is a savings account, not a CD. We have a CD at Independent Bank of $4,373.89. We have a second CD there of $4,564.36. We have our tax checking account, which currently has $10,686.49. And it does have a couple of sub-accounts. One has $480.48. I was unable to get a lot of the details on some of our CDs and some of the funds that we have. So I did pull the records retention and disposal schedule that's put forth for the Michigan Township Treasurer. And all of that information should be kept for 7 years, but I have not been provided any of it. So we do have, we have information for the last probably 12 months, but before that, we don't have any. So that's something we need to take into consideration in the near future.
So when you met with Mary Ann the 2 times to get information, she did not give you the records that she indicated she got from June Miller then?
No, well, actually, I cannot say that. What I can say is that the information that she gave me began in June of 2022 to current. I don't have anything before that.
So
I
you
do
have
not have
one
any
year's worth of records.
Yes, I do not have any statements for the general fund CD, or any statements for the cemetery trust savings account other than one. So I'm working to get some of that information. At this time, I would like to make a motion to amend, well, I guess maybe I should back up. Sherry has been appointed as my deputy. And I would like to bring her wages in alignment with the deputy clerk. So at the budget meeting, it was left to be $100 a month. But I would like to make a motion to amend budget line 253704 for the deputy treasurer. It's currently $1,200. I would like to make it $5,250. That would bring it in alignment with the deputy clerk. So we would have to increase it $4,050, and we could move those funds from the 907,970, which is the surplus funds, because that should have been done, in my opinion, at the time of the budget meeting.
And you would pay her $15 an hour, the same as the deputy clerk?
Correct.
Do we have the authority to do that?
Yes, we do.
I don't want to do anything illegal, because I don't want to get sued again.
Well, it would just bring her in alignment with the deputy.
Well, yes, she should be, yes.
So,
There's a lot of work that goes on with that.
so I would like to make a motion to increase budget line item 253704 by $4,050, bringing it to $5,250. And we would move that from 901,970.
Do we have a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
And do we have any discussion on that? Jim, what do you think?
I think that people should get paid for the work that they do. And if she's,
$15 an hour is not too much.
if she's doing a good job and doing the work, then the pay should be equal.
She is, and she's been very helpful in trying to help me get some of the information up to date. When we received the reconciliations that had been done, there was one account that was done through January of '22 and one that was done through March of '23. So we've had to recreate some things and to bring it up to date.
Good. Thanks for your work. Thanks, Sherry.
Okay, so we have a motion to, yeah, so we just need to vote on that.
You got that written out?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Anything for you, Lee?
She should get paid what she does.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We should probably do a roll call on that.
Okay.
Lee?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Miranda?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Tim? Yes, and I'll say yes too, it's unanimous. Motion carried unanimously.
Then with what Miranda just said, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize our attorney to go forward with any and all action to try to get the back records that have not been housed in this township office, and I do not have a single one for the treasurer. The former treasurer did indicate that she had received records from June Miller. Those should have been handed over to Miranda at the time that she gave everything over. And she has made no indication other than the twice that Miranda reached out to her to get the records to this office.
Are you sure they exist?
She stated in a meeting, I believe it was in January, we have it on video, where she said she received 4 to 6 bank boxes from June Miller. And we're supposed to have 7 years worth. We don't have 7 years worth. And we have from June of last year to present. We're gonna be going through an audit. We need those records for our biannual basic audit.
Because you said it, wouldn't Hunterford, during their forensic audit, be doing a lot of that legwork?
They could, but we wouldn't have to, I mean, that's something that we'd have to pay them for versus our attorney. To go forward, they wouldn't be,
They're not already gonna be doing that work?
that's something we can ask them and find out. We will be getting the engagement letter from them later this week.
Right.
And you guys have a copy of an email from them, from Hungerford Nichols in your packets.
Okay.
So I
I think
guess,
at this time, we should probably plan to hold off until after we speak with Hungerford Nichols.
Can you
Because
give
I
her
would
a
like to
hand to the
send a letter to
microphone?
request information.
It's
and then
on.
we'll have to send another letter to request more information. So if we get from them the details as to what they'll need from her, and then proceed.
we can do that, I can email them, whatever the board wants.
Well, we should have copies of all that past financial stuff for our records anyway.
Yes, we should.
We're supposed to go back 7 years, we definitely have to have them or we find ourselves in trouble.
And none of it was ever brought back to this office before, like I said, and nothing was in the office, and I've gone through
I'm
every,
definitely not saying we should not request the information, but I feel we should have a complete list of what we want to request and we want to request.
And you think that, the people that are doing the, Hungerford, whatever, would be able to facilitate us in knowing what we want to get from them? Is that what you're saying?
I believe they would be able to give us the best answer as to exactly what it is that we
Are missing.
are missing.
Okay.
Or that we need for them.
Okay, so then let's,
I just wanna make sure that we're not wasting another month by not having to wait to come back to reconvene or have a special meeting to have somebody go forward to get these records where we need them. So I guess that's the reason I'm asking for us to make a decision within a motion so that we have the authority to go forward to authorize either Hungerford Nichols or Foster Swift, whoever we need to acquire these documents that we are required to have in-house.
Could
Right.
we make the motion? but-
so can we make a motion that, after consulting with, say that name again?
Hungerford Nichols.
Hungerford. I always want to eat after I hear that name. Hungerford Nichols, hungry for Nichols. Upon their recommendation, whether we go forward with working with our own lawyer or what they do?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'm
Is
looking
that
for,
something we want to look
that's.
into? We want to make this automatic, or do we want to do a special meeting afterwards? Either way.
I'd prefer automatic than a
Yeah.
special meeting.
Okay.
I
think Tim would too.
Once we know we need, to just go automatically, have Andy go, however paperwork needs to get it. Get done and over with.
Okay, and regardless of what Hungerford,
Well,
oh, they're
no,
gonna help us
Whatever,
know
yeah,
what
whatever they say we need,
okay,
we go by their recommendations and
Okay.
have it, ask if Andy can separate it and get it done.
can we put that into words?
So, Mary Ann said she had the documents.
That is correct.
In January, she said she had 2 boxes,
No. 5 to 6 boxes.
5 to 6
Banker boxes.
banker
And
boxes.
we've asked her for them.
Yes. Miranda has contacted her, and she was
I
sent
did
this,
not specifically ask for any bankers boxes. I simply asked for,
well, within her resignation letter, it specifically stated that she would mail the records to the board. She was sent a letter from us, from the attorney, that was drafted from the attorney, it was certified, she did receive it on June 16th. It basically said, yes, you need to get us, all the records that you have, and even from, and it was specifically stated in there, from the former treasurer, June Miller, because she indicated that she had them. So, I mean, June has said that she does not have them, that she gave them all to Mary Ann.
I think this is a good example though of why these records should all be housed within the township.
Within the township office. Okay.
Amen.
Beverly, yep.
Important
Well, I mean,
documents.
we're moving forward from what we were to
Absolutely.
where we want to be professionally.
So we agreed to make the motion that we're gonna reach out to Hunterford, who's doing the
Yep, that's it, so-
forensic audit, right?
Yep, that's correct.
And we're gonna see what it is that they exactly need to review.
Yep.
And then we're gonna reach back out to Mary Ann to provide those to us.
I would be happy to reach out to her. I've had good communications
Good.
with her. I've had good communications with her in getting what she has given me. So with that being said, once we have the list, I would be happy to reach out to her and make that communication. And hopefully, if she has them, if they slipped her mind, whatever it may be, she could provide them. If at that time, again, she states that she doesn't have them, then we can proceed in whichever fashion they recommend. But I do not mind reaching out to ask for them specifically.
That sounds like a good plan.
So, the motion is to consult with Hungerford Nichols on what records the treasurer, what they will need for the review. And then Miranda will reach out with that list to Marianne, and then if she indicates that she doesn't have it, then we will go forward with whatever their recommendation is.
From Hungerford.
From
That
Hungerford
sounds good.
Nichols.
Yep.
Okay,
Any
so
questions
that's-
on that motion? Do we have a second?
Or
All in favor, say aye.
I-
Opposed, likewise.
As a second part to the treasurer's report, just to follow up, we did close the PO box that was in Truppen. And we're taking everything to the Coral PO box. There's no sense in having multiple PO boxes for the township. So we did close the one in Truppen, and now we're receiving mail, the tax mail in Coral, the other PO box.
Well, they're forwarding it for how long?
They are not forwarding it. The only person that could request that it be forwarded would be Mary Ann. I did share that with Mary Ann because she had opened it and signed for it. But I unfortunately didn't get a response if that was forwarded or not. I know it was closed for non-payment. and this happened, I believe, June 30th. It was closed for non-payment, but they couldn't tell me if it was going to be forwarded or not because I was not a signer on the account, even though I had the minutes for the treasurer.
So how are we gonna deal with that?
Good question.
Would you like to approach Mary Ann again, or do we want to?
I will have a follow-up conversation with her. I'll also go back into the post office.
Okay,
But she did let me know at the counter that she could hold things for a little bit as I stopped in, so we'll see how that works out.
good, thank you. That's the close of your report?
Well, not to take up the whole meeting, but,
Well, this is a big thing, a turnover like this.
well, no, this isn't related to the turnover. This is related to, currently, the trustees get a phone reimbursement of $20. And there is a budget line item for the treasurer, the clerk, and the supervisor to receive the same. But now those three positions are getting a Google line added to their phone. So I would just like to make a motion to move all of the communications funding under the supervisor, the clerk, and the treasurer to the main communication expense line, which is 101,850, so that that can be paid directly to Google instead of being we don't need a $20 reimbursement if
Yep.
the township is paying for the line. But with that, the cemetery coordinator currently does not have a Google line, and I really think they should, because we could then move that on to the next person as the next person takes over any cemetery coordinator duties. Right now, it would be a line, it would be somebody's personal line, and you would have to chase that number down.
Seamless then.
Yeah, it would be seamless. The next person that was doing the coordinator of the cemetery duties.
So you're saying we should have a fourth line?
Yes.
Okay, good, okay. She's
So you
doing
want me
it.
to put that into a motion, don't you?
I have kind of written it into a motion, in a somewhat,
Are we, wait a second, we got two motions then, don't we?
well, no, I just kind of made it all into one.
We might have to have you read that back.
Well, our motion is gonna be to move, all communication funding for Google Voice from the supervisor, treasurer, and clerk to 101,850 communications, and also to add a line for the cemetery coordinator under that same thing. And the Google Voice numbers are $20 a month per user, and they're tied to the email address that they go to.
So we would have to increase that budget line item by $180 is what you're saying? Because that would get us through the rest of the fiscal year.
Yes.
And would we move that from the 901,970?
Yes. I'll make it flow better when I type it out, so it's not jumbled up and okay, yeah, that's the motion.
We have a second to that motion?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carried. Anything more, Miranda?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Thank you for all the work that you've done, and thank you for presenting this. The bills are on the back of the agenda. Okay, time to read them. I accept the motion that we pay the bills.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on what you've seen there? not, are you done, Tim? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? And the motion is carried. Clerk's report. What do you got there, Andy?
Okay, I'd like to welcome Miranda. It's been great. We're working on organizing the office and trying to get things so that it flows easily. So with that being said, we're looking into ordering, locking cash boxes, one for the clerk and one for the treasurer. Since we're coming up on tax season, the clerk's portion would be for, I take very little money, if any, but mostly for cemetery stuff. And maybe for the community center if I happen to get that. And you'll see in your packets a couple different safes and cash boxes. And that's what I'm looking for is the fire safe would be something that we can put in the secured, locked office that we can store like, backup USBs and other small items that we don't have. So if we had a fire through here right now, we'd lose a lot of things. And then the other ones are two different types of, one was with a key and the other one's with a combination lock for cash boxes. And I'd like to get those so that we have something to put money in and keep it securely. Especially like I said, since we're gonna be taking, when people walk in and wanna pay their taxes.
What's instigating this is that other townships have had troubles with people taking them.
There's been a couple other townships that had problems. And I think, and we literally do not have a cash box or anything
Yeah.
in the office to securely put, so if somebody walks in and they have an envelope full of cash because they wanna pay their taxes, but Miranda isn't here, we need to be able to put it in the safe and so that she can do her thing and give them a receipt and do all of that, because we're not authorized to take money. Only the treasurer and deputy treasurer are technically authorized to take money, so we need someplace to be able to slide it in,
That's
We
something
don't-
else, yep.
and then she takes care of it. So,
Are you looking at one or two?
I'm looking at, like I said, I just did this, probably one cash box for the clerk, for us, and one cash box for the treasurer, keep them separate. And then the wall safe, if we'd like to get that, or just the two cash boxes. Whatever we'd like to do.
Who would have accesses to the, wall safe?
So for the wall safe, it would be the clerk and the deputy clerk, and probably the treasurer as well, and deputy treasurer. And then the treasurer cash box would be just treasurer and deputy treasurer, and the clerk cash box would be clerk and deputy clerk.
These, I know it's a strange thing to ask, but could these, items be used out of the ARPA fund?
Yeah.
They should be able to.
They can be.
Because it's,
This is, yeah.
basically.
Capital expenditure, yeah.
Mhm.
Can I interject something here as the deputy?
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with the amount of cash that comes in with tax season and anything that they can pick up and lift and walk off with. I think of your duty is much better.
I was just gonna make that comment about the fireproof safe actually, because the fireproof safe is only 22 inches high.
Can be ran off with.
Yeah, somebody could literally pick
This
up
one
the whole
actually has wall mounts, so we would be able to wall mount it inside our locked storage room.
Okay.
That was my intention with that one, was that we could put it on the wall above the locked, drop boxes that are in there, so they would literally be inside the locked room. There would have to be some, they'd be inside the office, inside the locked room, that only, right now Susan and I have a key to get into. Because that's also where we keep our, voting machines.
I mean, it's not like we don't have a little wannabe thugs in Coral and we want something they can't just break in and walk
Well,
off
and that's
with.
what I mean, so these were just things that I just happened to grab, I mean, if you'd like something different, this was just a suggestion,
Two cash
just
boxes and one safe, right?
either that, or they have larger cash boxes that, like you said,
Okay,
are
you got-
heavier, that,
One is key for you and your clerk, and I got the separate ones, two cash boxes, one safe, keep them in,
You would keep the cash boxes in the safe?
and safe.
at times,
At times we would want to, but I see that this, safe is only, the exterior dimensions is 16 inches wide, or almost 16 inches wide.
Fits between studs.
Yeah, but my concern is that we wanna make sure our cash box is gonna fit inside of it.
and like I said, I literally just found them and just printed it up, so I mean, as a, we should probably address this, knowing the tax season coming up, and we just took tax bills out, and you're gonna start receiving stuff there, I wanna have a spot where, when we get the mail, I have someplace secure to put those tax payments that come in. Cause I don't want them just in a basket on top of their desk.
Did we ever get that fire, say,
The fire safe,
Oh, the file cabinet, yes, yeah, we got that order, didn't we?
which file, the fire safe one, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have keys to that, and it is moved in the back.
I've been unable to get my desk open.
No, it's drilled out now.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it got drilled out today.
Thank you.
you're saying that thing went out back?
That huge fire safe, yes. Dan did it, and I took pictures of it. It was rather entertaining.
I was gonna say, nobody's running off with that thing.
No, he was barely running off with it in the parking lot. It's,
I
it's
made it
locked,
halfway and had to take a
but
breath.
it's full. We don't have another fire safe that's empty. We have three fire safes back there that have the filing cabinet drawers. They're all full of permanent records that we have to keep. So we don't have any additional,
We don't have a money safe.
we don't have a money safe. That's why I was just proposing something smaller that we can keep, like our USBs and tax stuff that we get in before it's done. But we will have to look at getting another fire safe for files, because we have run out of room. Because like I said, all three of them back there are full of permanent records that have to be kept. So, food for thought. You guys wanna think about it and come back, that's fine. I can move on, so we're not all sitting here fighting to. So the next thing in my report is elections. We currently do not have an August or November election this year. The next election date will most likely be the end of February for the presidential primary. That's looking more and more likely from the legislature. And just something of note, FOIA requests, we've had several from Patriots of Montcalm. They have all been completed. They were asking for communications between the clerk and the former treasurer, and then they asked for direct communications between the board members and the former treasurer, and that has all been given to them. Patriots of Montcalm, just as everybody knows, is also known as Montcalm Wind, also known as Apex. And so they've been asking for all those communications, and they've been given them what they could get. And that concludes my clerk's report. We'll come back to the safe stuff later when if you guys have other ideas, we'll come back to it and figure out what we want to get.
I just wanna make sure we get enough,
Yeah,
something that's heavy enough, something that works good. Okay, Andy, thank you. County Commissioner, not here. We have a report from the Planning Commission.
There wasn't a meeting this month.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right, okay, thank you.
we're just waiting on lawyer stuff, I see we got it.
so we got it, but, so the one thing you guys will see in your packet is last month we did do the changes to the ordinance
Oh,
book.
yeah,
There was just, if you look on the back, there was a couple things that were listed that we voted on that weren't listed correctly, so we just need to reapprove them, and then I can put the notice in the paper. But I just have to make sure all the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted, and those were a couple things that, we voted, so you'll see at the bottom where I put
those three things at the
those three
bottom.
things, yeah, that we crossed out because that was already done, and then there was, the deck thing was, it's covered at the county level, so we just need to make sure that we voted on it correctly. So we just need to vote on it again, sorry.
So then I entertain a motion that we,
I'll make the motion to
Okay.
accept the changes in, the amended changes, so,
okay, amended changes,
in
okay.
the ordinance books.
More.
Changes. Okay.
So we have a motion, we have support. Any questions? Basically covering an oversight.
Yes, that's all it was, and then we can, then, the notice, the public notice will go in the papers, so that's all we'll do.
Okay.
And then, Susan will be working on finishing those changes so that everything can be put on the website once we get that changed. So,
Okay, further discussion, all in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carried. We report from the zoning administrator.
Okay, for the month of June, at 17872 West Kimball, they put a garage there. At 12878 Cobblick Road, they revised their application and added a deck to that. I've been visiting the campsite there on Black Road a few times in the last couple weeks, and they did put a shed up there just a couple feet from the property line. Our zoning book says it's gotta be 40 feet, and just been going back and forth. They said that they don't count on that, but it does. And in the past, they should have, in the beginning, they should have gotten a special use for a campsite. They never did. The lady I was talking to, she said, well, back then, they just did handshakes, because she said, well, they had somebody say that, tell them, well, it's okay. I said, well, do you have documentation of that? And they said, no, it was all handshake and hearsay or whatever. I said, no, you've got to do something. So there is, I think I wrote them 2 violations. They have 2 deadlines. One's to apply for a special use, because it's a campsite, and the other one's for that shed that's just a couple feet from the property. It's supposed to be 40 feet from any surrounding property. I'm looking into another one on Escalon Lake where there's like 10 trailers there, and I don't know if they ever had a license to put that in. They need to get updated too. If they didn't, I haven't looked all the way into that yet, but I'm working on that too.
the one on Paris Road does not have a special land use permit, and Susan has been talking with Eagle about that. We do have the campground permit that the state has, but in the state regulations, it states in there that if there's local zoning, that they have to comply with the state and local rules. And currently, neither campground is being compliant with any of our zoning. And the one on Black Road was mentioned in the minutes in 97 and 98 at the planning commission level, but nobody ever followed up and did anything. So that's why we're having to do
It's
stuff
not
now.
gonna be real smooth the way they're talking to me. They're kind of reluctant, I guess you could say, for doing anything, and they feel, like that shed, the setback, they say, well, the state says this many feet, and the county says so many feet. I said, but the most restrictive one is what you have to go by,
Yeah.
between the state, county, and township, but they tend to disagree with that. So I told them we'll make sure it's compliant within a certain time, or I have to issue a citation, a ticket, take it to court. So we'll see what happens. That's it.
Thank you. Keep up the work. Report from the community center.
We had 3 rentals in June, and then if you guys will look at your packets, there is a quote from Four Seasons Exterminating, because we have had, in my office, we have had evidence of mice again, and then, so he went through a walkthrough, and there's a lot everywhere, and since we have the commercial kitchen cleaned and everything, we really need to get a handle on this. and that's the quote for them. It ended up being a $55 monthly, service.
For how long?
We would do it, well, that's January through December. They would come and check the bait boxes and, because they would do one throughout this whole building, in the garage,
How often do they
in
check?
here, monthly.
So there's a
So-
big gap under the door back there.
In the back there, we have to get that fixed. And I have somebody getting us a quote on getting a new
Okay.
door put in the back of the community center. Because currently,
I could almost crawl through it.
that is correct, yes. The back door on there needs to be replaced because it's bad.
It's not the right size, right?
I don't know,
Okay.
it's above my pay grade. Just know there's a gap,
I mean, we need to seal the building up
yes.
before we're gonna worry too much about, we need to get rid of the rodents too.
Well, yes, because they're in my office now, so yes, they need to go.
Oh, that's all right, you'll get along with them.
No.
They don't
So-
eat, they don't eat much.
And he said, when he looked at the hole, I showed him, we took the cover off the hole in the office, in the little office, inside the office. And he's like, that wasn't mice that made that hole, that was a larger critter, and like, stop talking, because that's gross. So, yes, we really do need to get
Okay.
something done, so
Yeah.
that,
Rats from next door.
it's either that or Andy's gonna start packing heat and shooting critters. I mean,
As long as you're wearing a cowboy hat, we're okay with that.
I have
I'm
several.
kidding, I'm kidding, I'm
Straw,
kidding.
fells.
Set up the camera for that, please. We'd like
Please
to
do,
see
yes,
that.
because it'll be entertaining. So that's one thing I wanted, I got a quote for that, so I'd like to be able to employ them and get the critters gone.
Does it come with a guarantee?
Better.
What are you thinking, Tim?
I think I've used Four Seasons, they do a good job.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
I have them at my house and at our cottage.
Do you? Oh, okay. Why didn't you tell me you guys knew?
So are we only talking about that line item, the $55?
Well, we have to do the initial
Okay.
service, obviously,
But this is the only thing that
and-
carries.
that carries, that is correct.
And what's the $92?
And that's a one-time setup
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
If anything changes, I'll let you guys know, but
Do we
that's,
have anything set aside?
we have, a maintenance fee,
We have a maintenance,
maintenance line. So,
That's why I covered the door, cover the services.
I think that covered the services, the door, maybe something, we have to look at something else to use.
how much is in the maintenance?
Under the complex, repair and maintenance, we have $2,000, we used 198 of it.
We wanna use
Or we
that for
could,
that?
we could use it under professional services, we have 3,500.
Can't you use ARPA for that since it's to do with the building?
Those have to be capital expenditures.
So
Yeah, we could do the door repair.
Yeah, the door repair could be that, yeah.
We'll check on the door first thing, get that fixed. then.
Well, and I said, in the meantime.
But we
you can-
really need to get the rodents out of here
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, we need to
We need
basically
to
all at the
Start
same
it
time.
and get them going at the same time, so they
Yeah.
can't get back in.
So,
Well, I'll make a motion to approve,
okay,
Go with
The
the
clerk.
four-season extermination.
to have the clerk move forward with Four Seasons extermination.
I'll second it. Because I want to go on.
I do ask Bill that it goes on.
We didn't even get to discuss that, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise,
Miranda, what line did you say you wanted?
motion carried.
I would like to see it go under maintenance.
Okay, under maintenance, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Gonna check it, get the door,
Okay,
Yeah, and then the back door, do you want to make a,
make a motion, get the back door fixed.
okay, and use ARPA funds?
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Tim seconds it. Any discussion? What do we got going with these two doors here?
JD Builders will be coming in the next, he hasn't called me back, he hasn't texted me back, so, because he put in that, so he'll be here to fix those.
Oh, okay, good.
So I'm hoping within the next couple weeks, but they
Okay,
were all on vacation for the 4th, so,
well, that's not acceptable.
I know. There was a holiday, so,
Any discussion? Other than that, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries.
I would like to circle back to, the fireproof safe. Tax season is upon us, and we do have payments coming into the office already, so we do need a locked, secure place.
We do need that right away, don't we?
Yeah, to put those payments into, because like today, they were left and they had no place else to put them, but they were left out in the open in my inbox. And yes,
Yeah,
they're
that's
still,
nice.
yes, they're still in envelopes, but they should not be left out. They should be in a locked box until I can get them. So if we don't wanna get the lock boxes, that's fine, but we should get a locking safe that can be bolted. to
I
the
saw
wall.
one of them in there that was a deposit safe, where you could deposit it and it was lockable. The last one down there, fireproof depository safe with a drop slot.
I did see that one as well, where it can be dropped in.
Yeah, so nobody, so the only treasurer can get it out. You can drop it. I think that would be advantageous to us in a situation like that. We got money coming in. So.
And they can be dropped in there, so,
What?
yeah, that's what I
with
was
that
wanting
being said,
something.
if we can, and we can get it out of the ARPA funds, is that? as I
That should be
understood?
able to do that.
Okay, because then I would like to make
I
a
don't see
motion.
dimensions on that though.
Can we make a motion then to set funds aside, so that we can purchase it before the next meeting? Yep. Once we get the dimensions, because we do have to have some place to put funds when they are in the office.
I want to get the lockbox at the same time.
What do you think, Jim?
We have lockboxes that way of doing, then when we're done for the day, they can put it in the safe.
I just like the idea of the deposits.
We're looking for 2 lock boxes in a safe, right? The most expensive safe I see on here is $350, and the lock boxes are,
$25.
So we want to put $600 aside?
I was gonna say set 500 aside so they can get their business done out of the
Yeah,
ARPA
sounds
funds.
like
and
a
whatever
great
they
idea.
don't use, leave it in the account.
No, 500 is the maximum that we can, of course, it's hard, so we can probably do more.
It's up to you, what do you want the motion to be? So utilize upper funds?
I think
up to-
500
Enough?
is definitely enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
second?
can't imagine we'll spend
Or-
probably more than 350, but.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Anything else? Okay, report from the fire board, Jim?
I don't have any report,
Okay, that's good.
Do they
Report
have
from the-
training this week?
pardon me,
Do they have training this weekend?
I'm not sure, we didn't have a meeting this
Cause,
month.
once a year, so they have driver training for the guys, they keep going by our place and stuff, and they'll come back. About 10 minutes later, they go by again, they done that a couple years ago for training.
We were talking about the fact that they were gonna be training drivers in the trucks.
They did do
Certifying
that,
them.
they did do it.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah, they're going by our place
Brown,
2 years ago, and they done it again this weekend
Yeah.
and stuff, I figured that's what they were doing.
Cemetery coordinator, Julie couldn't be here tonight, but we have, had a couple demos of some software for cemetery management. And so we're trying to kind of go through those before we make a presentation to the board. And we went to the cemetery management class, and boy, was that eye-opening as far as how we should be
Keeping records.
keeping records, payments, and we're making some changes on that, and I'm gonna come back to you guys with some proposals of changing kind of how our fee structure is. We don't have one currently, we just have whatever the gravedigger has proposed that we pay him. And so we're working on getting together something more comprehensive, because the softwares that have come back are astronomical, so we're and Julie's been working with another gentleman who takes care of 4 cemeteries in Cannon Township, and he has been a wealth of information, so we're gathering all that before we bring something to you guys. But,
How astronomical.
Trimedia was $41,000.
Holy moly.
That's astronomical.
That is. Yes, it is.
Are you talking for digital?
That is for digital, but that would be with, they would do ground creating radar, drone, pictures of the cemetery. The thing about it also, about Trimedia, is that it is on GIS, software system, which the county uses. So it's not software that's proprietary to them, as where SIM software is proprietary to them, and you pay a yearly maintenance fee. So with Trimedia is, once you get it, they'll have you update it if you need any updates after that, but you own the software. So there's no yearly maintenance fee, but again, it's going through all of the records and getting everything, and they would be doing all of that, and that was for both cemeteries. I didn't think that much, but we have, I mean, Coral alone is almost 10 acres. And Truefit is, right now, is presently at 5 acres, and we have a little bit less than an acre to develop. So that would be with them helping us to develop that as well. But, so we're gathering all the information, like I said, and then we found, like, there's some things where Randy Hackman has been taking payments for doing the foundations. He should not be taking any money whatsoever for anything that happens at the cemetery. It should all be coming to us, and then we pay him because he's our employee. So, and we've let him know that, and he was fine with that. But just for all of our stuff and to be compliant with the state and everything. But it was, like I said, it was very interesting, and like I said, when we saw the kind of the quotes, we're kind of trying to come up with a plan C. for the record keeping of the cemeteries. So once we have that, then we'll pass it out to you guys, so you can look at it and say, here, this is kind of what we're proposing. And we do have Jerry Stittler, he's from Cannon Township, who Julie has been working with. He is going to come out later this month or into August and help us repair. We have a stone that is damaged from the ice storm this spring in Coral. It's in 3 pieces, and he knows how to restore them and to put them back together with the proper products. So he's gonna come out and show us how to do that and help us. So, and I think that's about it. I am also getting a quote for doors on the new Sexton shed in Truefit, because there's north and south doors, they're double doors, they are rotting at the frames. They're rotting out, so we need to get those replaced if we're gonna utilize that building. And once I have that, I'll pass that on to you guys as well. But that's what's happening in cemeteries today. Not a lot of talking.
Well, that's a good thing.
At least not a lot of answering.
And, well, no, and if they are, then
Right. Okay, thank you for that report. On to old business, update on security camera for Coral Park.
So Amble Electric was here today. They have everything up and running, in our part, their part, they got that all completed today. And then while they were here, TKS Security called and they had a cancellation for tomorrow morning and said, hey, can we come out at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? Will Amble Electric have everything done? And I'm like, yes, they will. So the camera will be up and running in Coral Park by tomorrow afternoon, I would assume.
And then we will be taking care of vandalism.
Yes.
Terrific.
Then we can
That's the plan.
Great.
we can get some beautiful photos of people doing nefarious things. Hopefully not. So that's where we're at with the update of that.
So, thank you. Maple Valley Township and Pearson is joining together to host the MTA meeting in August. What's our responsibility with that?
I am still ascertaining that because we have gone back and forth with Pearson
They
about.
wanted to host it at their place.
They're hosting it at their place because they have
They
their
wanna show up there.
new park and everything that they just finished in the back half, which I think is great. And then we're trying to figure out who we want to have come speak. They want to have somebody speak about master plans. I gave them the suggestion of having somebody come and talk about grant writing. Because
Well, that would be great.
we could all
Mhm.
use resources about grant writing. So we're still trying to find out who we're gonna have for guest speaking, and I think we're doing a taco bar for that night, so I'm gonna find out what our responsibility is for
Okay.
that. And that's on August, the day after our next meeting.
Which I know everybody goes to those meetings. The blight ordinance. You wanna explain what we got here? Everybody got a copy of that? You got that? Has everybody looked that over?
So the blight ordinance is actually two parts that the attorney sent back to us, because I sent her what the county had sent us and asked her how enforceable was it and what her recommendations were, because it was very vague. She sent back this and said, here's what her recommendation would be for us if we would like to have something very enforceable. The backup would be the municipal civil infractions ordinance, and then we can do a nuisance ordinance, and it's quite detailed. And so that's what I sent to all of you guys, and we just need to look at it, because we do have some, I don't know if we have a junkyard in our ordinance or not, but that's what we'd have to look at, see if there's any redundancy. And if you guys have any questions, then I'll just put together one email of all the questions we have for some of these things and send it back to her with questions that we have, or how we could apply it to ours. And then we as a board can adopt this without having to go through the planning commission, and it is effective immediately. So then that way we can have it being enforced as soon as possible for these blight issues that we have.
So we wanna act on this tonight, or we wanna just kind of, read on it?
I would say, you guys have had it, I don't know, well, Miranda hasn't.
I haven't had it, so I would like to.
So I think that we should probably let her be able to review it and read it
Bring it back next
and bring it
month.
back next month. And
Yes, please.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
But-
The one thing that I found in this is that we need a Reader's Digest edition.
Okay.
There's a lot in there, and if I were to send this to somebody, they would say, well, what did I do wrong? There's an awful lot in there.
Okay. So I guess as you guys read through it and look at it and make notes, just send your emails to me, and then I'll just put them all in one and send it to her.
Okay.
So if we have stuff in that way, we can have answers back by the August meeting.
In a nutshell, there's like 3 stages, right?
Yes.
Third stage, we clean it up and then put it on their tax.
That is correct, yes.
Basically, that's the whole thing,
The final.
the final. Right. But it's hard to find that in there.
Yeah, it's under the civil infraction portion of it, of the violations of it.
Good, we'll table that. Generator quotes. We had talked about this back in
April,
April, and we had 2.
yep, we have 2. We have one from Amble Electric that has 2 options.
Yep.
And then we have one from JZ Electric that also has 2 options with 2 different pricing for generators for this building.
This will come out of the ARPA funds.
Yes,
Our concern is that they're gonna move the primaries to February, and that's usually when we lose our electricity.
because right now the presidential primary is, I think it's going to be February either 26th, Susan, is it 26th or 27th, something like that?
Yep.
Is what they're proposing. And that same time this past year, we had an ice storm and didn't have power. So that is a concern. Actually, Miranda knows that because she had to sit out in the vehicle, because she had to collect taxes today.
I did.
And, yeah, we didn't have power here, so I think that's something that we should really look at more closely, because we have these bids for these.
So on the option B, they're gonna cut back down to 200 amps.
Under Amble Electric.
Yes, but they have to rewire the box so that only half of the stuff goes through there?
Yes, they would have to create it says in there they'd have to create an emergency panel that would only power
Operate-
those things
power
that they have.
those things. I don't know why we have 400 amps, there's so many. What do you think, Jack?
I think that one of them services probably run that building there, right?
I would
Sorry.
think so.
Oh, no, our service runs that building.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
That's
Yeah,
why we
so-
have 400 amps.
That's right.
So then, I would have to see how that, I mean, yeah.
And that's an option A from them.
Really, this is the only thing we need to fire up, is this building right here. There's no water over there, there's nothing like that over there.
They're-
We're not heating it right now, right?
That is correct. There's not.
So I would, if there is
Well-
plumbing over there, we're not using it.
It is not currently being used. So, but, you know, if the road commission doesn't rent it again and we decide we get it fixed and rent it out to somebody else,
Yeah.
and if they're
They're
using
gonna be
the
closed on
plumbing,
the power outage.
so, I don't know.
You like the A or B?
I don't think it's necessary to have a generator for both buildings. in my opinion. It's a lot of money for a maybe down the road in the future.
Right, yeah, it's lingering in my head, why would we need it? You know, what emergency could befall this township that you would need that building powered up along with this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
It's totally where my head is. What could happen that we would be
what
like,
we need is we wanna have heat and we want water and we wanna be able to, maybe cook if we have an emergency, people come in here and
Under
Yeah,
an
more.
emergency, this building I can definitely understand, but the other building,
I don't,
what's your
And-
thoughts, Dave?
I think option B sounds good.
From Amble?
yeah, 14,000 watts is plenty.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It would run the lights, the well, the furnace.
we could hold election, I mean,
That's
that's,
still running both legs, right? Evidently, 200 amps gotta be. Still running 220, because that's what our pump is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so it just says it wouldn't do the garage or the back storage lighting, so not that back there,
Okay. Becky,
or the outlets.
now that back storage is where the furnace is.
We'd have to ask him.
Oh, it says both furnaces,
Yeah, so,
both air conditioners. Okay.
did they discuss where they would set it? I only ask because they're gonna have to run underground gas line to it.
It will be next to the tanks.
yeah, it'll be on the back or on the back side of the building, because they were looking at it. We just have to make sure that it's on our property. 'Cause
Well, they'll pour a cement pad for that.
We'll have to get a quote for somebody to gas pipe it because Amber Electric won't be able to pipe it.
so that would be an addition too.
It's not much of an addition, it's probably $750 maybe, but.
What's your pleasure?
I think Campbell Electric will go option B. They're already doing a lot of work for us, so
I'll second that.
they're close by if something happens.
We have a motion, we have a second. We wanna do a roll call on this one?
Do you want this to be taken out of the ARPA funds?
Yeah, if we can. Save as much as possible.
Jay-Z is more expensive too, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All in favor, say aye.
Right?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. What does that put our ARPA money down to then? Right around 125,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right around there. 125,000 from the federal, and then we still got the 100,000
For the parks
Parks,
sitting there,
yes.
yes. And it's my understanding that was moved to the general fund already?
Yes. Yep. It's not in the ARPA fund at all.
I just wanted to make sure.
That $107,000 makes me nervous, that we don't know where that is.
I am working with them. I just have, there's no statements or anything in what I have. She asked for a copy of the minutes that I did, and so I did emailed her a copy of that, so hopefully I can get some information soon.
It's not in my-
The first couple weeks in the position, really, we had to get the taxes out the door, so I
Yeah.
didn't get to work on much of that. The tax roll hadn't even been, the tax year hadn't been created yet, so we had to kind of scramble to get that done. So now, by the next meeting, I will have more information on that.
Let me just go back to this option B real quick, because they gave us the project pricing, since we know that we were gonna have some LP gassing and stuff like that. Do we wanna do it to, up to $20,000, so that we know that that is included within this, because it's basically 18,000 for their proposal. Do we wanna just make it an even 20, so that we have that extra for the piping and everything
Up
like
to
that?
20,000 for the gas piping, I would agree with that, but it's Lee's motion.
Yeah,
You want me to change
go,
it to?
yeah, go 20,000 for,
So the amendment to the motion is that we max expenditure be $20,000.
Mhm. Up to 20,000, then that way it includes that,
all I have to include in the maple.
yeah, and make it work.
And Andy, can you tell me, do we have to have those ARPA funds spent by the end of December, or do we just have to have them allocated in a, because I was under the impression we had to have them spent.
We have them spent, I believe, by December 31st of 2024, but I do have an email going out asking specifically if, like you said, if we have it allocated, is that okay, or is it going to be, but there's been, so I reached out to somebody who has more knowledge about it than I do.
Yeah, I was trying
because-
to look up some information on it, and I did get mixed information as well, so I just wanna
Exactly.
make sure we're not going to lose funds by passing.
No, it's, by 20, but I do know December 31st, 2024, but like I said, I've gotten several different communications from the federal government that contradicted themselves, so I put out an email to ask, so that we know for sure, okay, is it allocated, or is it actually spent and out of the budget and gone? So, as soon as I have the information, I'll pass it on to you guys. Thank you.
New business. So vote for removal for trees at the Coral Cemetery, because we have a
Yes.
couple that came down.
Yes, so you'll see that there's a quote from Jim Forrester, he's the one that did the workforce at Trufant. This is, a pine tree that's snapped off, and then there's, a big maple tree that half of it's gone, part of this is from the ice storm. And then there's another maple tree that's about ready to come down as well, so those are the three big ones that we needed.
Three big trees and grinding the stump for
Yes.
$2,000.
That's cheap.
Jump on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I wanna know
Can I have a motion?
I move
And
by
Paul.
them off and remove the trees,
Okay,
Second?
Second.
Tim seconds it.
put $2,000 on, for $2,000.
okay.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hey, can we do that with the ARPS funds? Or is that out of the maintenance center for the cemetery?
well, I think they still have,
Still have money in the, maintenance fee?
I believe we do, we still have money from that,
Good.
Cemetery, when you use that.
yes, we actually put it in there for repair and maintenance. We got $11,000, and we've only used 600 of it. So,
Okay.
so, I mean, that can come out of there, and then if we wanna use, we have,
That'll do. Okay.
yeah, we have other stuff in there, so.
Good. Playground equipment for Coral Park. We have one or two quotes.
So we received one quote from Great Lakes Recreation. She sent this on. She said that she had been working with Melissa Stout from last year. For, this is a quote for $65,661 for Little Tikes playground stuff, and there's a ladybug, a bumblebee, a four-wheeler, a couple spinners, and a caterpillar, and then slides, kind of stuff, and all this. The question I have is if it includes ground prep. I'm assuming it does, but I mean, we don't want to assume that. Should we take this quote, and personally, I think we should take this quote and send it out to a couple other playground equipment places and have them
I have 3.
You do?
for the same thing, for the same type of equipment?
I'll get them to you.
Okay, then I think,
Excellent.
then we can send it out and we can
Thank
look
you.
at that. I am waiting to hear back from a couple different, survey people, so we can get the Coral Park surveyed, so we know exactly where our boundary lines are.
Right.
So then that way, obviously, we'll be knowing that we're putting it on our property, and not on the churches or anyone else's,
But we can make the survey as part of the construction.
part of that. And
Right.
obviously, the security camera will be up, so,
I did get a tote for the,
cemetery?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have a tote for the cemetery, okay.
yeah, I gotta get that to that guy. It's a fertilizer tote, so it'll make things grow, it won't kill them.
Oh, good.
Depending on how much fertilizer.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you'll get us the other quotes, and then we can look them over, and we can
Yeah,
review that back at the August meeting?
You gonna email those to us so we can be prepared for the August meeting, or you just gonna bring them
I think they're in my truck.
Oh, really?
I'll
Okay.
just bring them and give them to her. She can
Okay,
get
and then I'll
copies.
Copy them,
make
send them to
copies
us,
and
okay,
send everything.
awesome, thanks. ZBA training,
You'll see an email from Cato Township. They wanted to host a ZBA training with our attorney, Foster and Swift, Leslie. I know that Bob Graham said he was available to go on Tuesday, July 18th. They would like us to split the cost with them for this training. Any of us board members are able to go, and we would each pay, it'd be around $230 with 3 townships. I know that, what was it tonight? I believe it was, Pine had it on their agenda tonight, and I believe Cato they were gonna have this. And then there was one other meeting that's happening later this week, that they were all gonna get board approval.
we only have one guy that's willing to go, or?
Dennis is gonna be out of town at that time, and I have not heard from JM if he was available or not.
He
So-
said he would.
Okay,
Oh, really?
so
Sweet,
Bob and
okay.
JM would be available,
So we,
and,
basically, we're paying $115 a piece to go over, and I mean, we got brand new guys on that board.
and I know that Susan and I both thought about attending as
Oh,
well.
awesome.
Just to have the knowledge of
When is that meeting? Or when is
next
that?
Tuesday night in Lakeview. So it's for the zoning board of appeals. She's gonna go over kind of the basics of how they operate and the roles and responsibilities of the members, and kind of discuss all of that, which I thought,
Possibly I could go as well,
okay.
if it's a flat fee for everyone.
Yeah, it is. It's a flat fee. I mean, we're just gonna split it between the townships. If we'd like to split it, so if there's 4 of us, that it might be less than $230, but
I would, entertain a motion that we
Make a
come.
motion, we send them to ZBA, if they want that next one, too, we'll pay our costs.
whatever it happens to
Just
be.
whatever it costs us.
Okay. Do I have a second?
that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Fine.
I think, any education that we can have is just very, very, very valuable. Okay, we have a couple people that wanna go to MTA classes, August 1st and 2nd.
Yes.
Who else, what is this?
So August 1st, this is in Cadillac. August 1st is Fundamentals of Assessment and Taxation, and it talks about assessment administration, and it talks about board review meetings, tax collection. Susan and I both want to attend both, and then the next one is on at your service, you're meeting your township needs about the role and authority and legal requirements of the township board providing for residents and how to reduce risks. So, Susan and I said we'd like to go, I didn't know if anybody else would like to entertain attending.
I checked my schedule, I cannot attend that.
Okay.
When is August first?
Tuesday, August 1st, and Wednesday, August 2nd.
Thursday.
Yes, well, the August 1st is 4:30 to 8:30 in the evening, and then the August 2nd is 9 to 4. So I'd like to make a motion that we pay for anybody to attend, and if they're going up for both, that we cover the hotel and meals.
What is the cost on it?
What is the cost?
The cost is, it would be $225 a person, because if we get the early bird rate, that ends on July 14th. So if we get registered before July 14th,
Would that come out of the clerk's training budget?
it would come out of, it would be under the township board. We put all of our educational stuff under that,
Under one line?
under one item. So it'd be under schooling. So 101,960 is the line item.
I'll make a motion that we pay for the lines to go.
I'll second that, we have
Oh, what?
$9,000 in the budget.
Yep.
We've only used 2,070.
Is that Lee or Miranda?
Lee and Miranda's not there.
Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. And the last one we have is a PA request from Jake Fist. You guys just sign that, or we get this over?
We just need to make, let me get this.
Accept it and turn it on to the Lansing.
Yes, so we just need to make a motion to accept that he wants to put his his property in, you're asking for the.
PA 116?
It is on, 11495 Brooksby, so it's down by the township line. And this portion isn't, it's right inside of,
Distance across the line.
yeah, it's just across the line,
Okay.
so. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's his mailing address. That is not the actual address of the, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like, you're right, that is. 'Cause I'm like, that's right down on ours. It is on the piece of property, and where's the property address? It is 11255. Why don't they have this easy to read? It's on 22 Mile. The southeast quarter. And the southwest quarter. They don't have it very.
I think it's 22 county line. So
It is, it's right, it's on the north side of the county line.
what's it? You see what Crossroad is? 22.
He gets taxes from us, so obviously the property's in
Oh, okay,
ours.
that's probably,
It's from the,
Marble, like, I know Marble.
yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Marble and 22, okay.
Oh, there's a picture.
Yes. So it's north of the county line right there.
Marble, 22 miles.
Yep. So
Okay.
I'll make sure I have the correct address when I do this.
I make a motion we granted CA 116 request.
Okay.
Second? Do we have a second?
I'll make the second.
All in favor, say aye. For that, Lansing will be happy. Everybody satisfied? I would accept a motion to adjourn.
No.
No?
Oh, hell no.
Two, but you can't deny the public.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always want to do that. That's
You
the
want
second time tonight, yeah.
I mean,
Good
yes.
thing you're here. Anyways, we got public comment? If we make these long enough, nobody wants to comment.
I will.
Mike!
Yes, concerning cemetery maintenance, you talked about a stone that needed some work or straighten up. Are they talking about that big stone in the backside of Coral? You know about it, Andy.
Yep,
Okay, that's the one?
yep, it's right,
Sweet, okay.
down from the sexton shed.
Okay, yep. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Sure. Why not? I just want to thank all of you for all the hard work that you've done and so many improvements that we're seeing be done that should have been done long ago. And I just appreciate all the hard work that you all have been doing to see that come to fruition.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Steve?
I spoke to Andy earlier about the street light, or the street plug-ins and the Christmas lights,
Yes.
so hopefully we'll get something done on that, because they're junk.
Yeah, I think April was going to.
They're gonna fix that, but what Steve is talking about, and thank you for reminding me of that, is the actual, Christmas decorations.
Yes.
They don't work, the ones that are hanging up in here.
There's 4 of them that
There's 4 of them that work, and there's,
So they need to be
10,
repaired?
yeah, they need to be replaced.
How many do we need?
There's only 4 that work.
And we,
There's like
There's probably 12,
14,
14
yeah,
plug-ins.
I think there's
But
14,
they all
I
don't
think
work.
you're, yeah.
Yeah, what would you like to do with them?
Yeah, do we get new ones?
Okay, let's look at, I'll look at it with you, okay?
Yeah,
And we've been
absolutely.
getting catalogs for
You've been getting catalogs for them?
them, yeah.
Oh,
I just haven't thought about them because no one wants to think about Christmas.
Last year, people asking about, where's Christmas lights, well, I
Mhm.
don't have to put on,
Yeah.
do what I can.
Yeah.
I got what I got.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, sir.
A couple months ago, I was in here and asked you about permission to clean up where the Boy Scout building used to be,
Yes.
and I've got 99% of that all done. But I've seen children playing over there, I've seen young kids over there skateboarding. Some of those blocks are loose, there's some even missing. On Thursday, there's people parking over there up against that wall. It's gonna collapse if they bump it too hard. What's your intention to do with that cement that's there?
I think it's more than cement, I think there's a septic tank there.
There could be, because there's,
And I think that whole thing needs to be dug out of there. And then, filled back in. That would be my intention.
or somebody gets hurt, because there's
Yes.
a 4-foot drop off almost off that one end. And those children are playing over there,
Yeah.
and it's, could be a hazard to somebody.
Steve, and tell him that he's gotta get those bricks out of there from so long.
I'm not talking to Steve. You wanna get a hold of Steve, you're welcome to do that, okay?
Now we're gonna patch things up.
Might just stab me. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, sir, for cleaning that up.
Yes, thank you for cleaning that up.
You wanna
We
take a look
will-
at it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just go look at it, I mean. I
Well,
don't know
it's
what you're talking about.
a block wall, it needs to be knocked down, and we need to have fill brought in.
Okay.
You're not on the Christmas list.
Lee, I'm
So,
gonna adjourn you.
are we making a motion to do something about this, or are we?
Not yet.
Not
We
yet?
should investigate it a little bit.
I think we should investigate, yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Okay,
I
so-
knew it was there, I just,
So Tim and
We need
Andrew.
someone
Watching these kids
Yeah.
play over there
Yeah.
before somebody gets hurt.
yeah,
I mean, I seen one infant over there and the mother was talking to somebody else, especially on Thursday, there is a ton of people over there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last thing you need is somebody over there getting hurt.
Is it a way to put some snow fencing or something around it until something is done with it?
No, that's even worse. Might be best if we could just knock it down so that they couldn't fall over the edge for now. But, yes, ma'am.
Is it ours to attend with?
I don't know.
Well, that's what we gotta find out first. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch it. We're not gonna be in the same spot again.
Yes,
So,
I know.
if somebody else wants to take the wall down, so be it. If they wanna put private property signs up, so be it. But I wouldn't have anything to do with it. If it doesn't have anything to do with the township, then I suggest we leave it alone.
County health,
Huh?
West Sheriff Department, county health, on danger, had to, because you can't do anything about it. Then they don't want it. That's Dave had his kids and stuff, I don't know if I can do something.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive by and check it out. See what we're talking about.
We'll get some legal guidance, I assume, before we do anything.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Perfect idea. I don't mind going to court, I just don't like taking time off work. It's a bother. Okay,
No, I'm not done with my 3 minutes yet.
okay, go on.
I wanna thank, Andy, Susan for the beautiful newsletter and the
Yes.
taxes.
Very good. Makes a difference.
Thank you, Miranda, for stepping up into a dirty little hole, but we got support, we know you can do it. Anything on the septic tank being pumped?
Well, funny you should ask. So we have a call into Miss Dig, we're waiting to have them come out and locate everything, because, part of the tank is underneath the back half of the foundation of this building right here. Fun fact, obviously there was no building permit pulled when they added on, because if there was, it wouldn't have been built there. And the chicken barbecue pit will probably be going away, because we'll be, excavating that, because, the second tank is underneath that.
Oh, that was a slip.
So, as soon as Miss Dig, has done their thing and due diligence, then Richard will come back up and we'll start excavating so we can, securely locate them and put some risers on.
You know that you can just camera from inside the building through the line? Camera with the locator, and they'll take, you go right to where.
Yep, and they have that capability, but the thing is, right now is, even if we hadn't a problem, we wouldn't be able to get to the tanks, because the lids are literally on the cement corner, and we have them spray painted out there, where we have ascertained where they are, from the photos that I found in the office and from probing the ground.
I could look into it more, Andy, before you dig it all up. Yeah, I mean, the fire, the chicken barbecue and everything.
It's good, it's the corner of the barbecue that is covering it, so. I mean, and that's,
If you wanna look at it, yeah, I'll look at it with you.
I mean, because we went
I'd like
by,
to speak to Richards, only because we work with them on this quite a bit through Parker Arts. We typically camera for them, so that's why I say that. It's not that I want us to do the cameraing, it's that I don't wanna dig it, I don't wanna tear anything up that we don't have to. So
I know.
I just would like to speak to them first.
I can let Zach know that, 'cause like I said, when they came out,
I can call them.
they probed it and we figured out where it was, like I said, from the pictures that we have literally of the tank placement and the drain field. The drain field is out there behind the dumpster, and that's from the pictures from 1991.
That's the last time they had a barbecue over.
To my knowledge, it
I
has
don't
been
think
pumped
it
since it's
hasn't
been put in.
pumped. Since 1991. Well, there's not a lot of traffic in here.
And then, when we have the generator placed, presumably by the pig, what'll it be?
They'll tell us where it has to go, so,
Will those two things have a fence around them at all?
yes.
Yes.
And then, I'd like to also make it known that, in the Greenville paper, it was mentioned that money was being spent left and right And I just want everybody to know that that is ARPA money. That is not taxpayers' dollars. I just think that it needs to be mentioned that that is our money. That's the government gave us that money and we have spent it very, very wisely. Thank you.
If I could just say something about the money that we have too. We have a lot of money in our funds, okay? The people are taxed. The state sets the tax, we receive, and then we get a portion of that back. The reason that the township receives money is to provide services for the people. We are not a bank. And in fact, the money sitting there, we cannot disperse that in a charitable way. That's not what the township does. If the money's not being spent, that means there are services that the people are not receiving that they are paying for. It's not a for-profit business where you're worried about whether or not you're gonna have a profit next year. It's taxes, it's gonna come in, and we need to spend that money and serve the people that are here. We should not have $1 million surplus.
Well, then one more thing, what about the elevator?
Somebody was doing some work on it.
Melvin was.
Was Melvin himself here?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No, I just went through it.
I don't know if anybody,
Come back to it already, you saw it.
I have no idea what he was doing, or,
He had that loader on it, he did have it running.
well, he moved a lot of dirt, a lot of concrete.
He just moved it around.
Yeah, he just moved it farther over. Yeah.
So if I see him again, I'll get a hold of him, get new contact. I got a phone number, but I don't have it.
No, he doesn't. I have no idea why he all of a sudden was down here. Okay, I would entertain go ahead, Penny.
Or stop. First off, will there be cameras by the generator and the pig, even though you say there's gonna be a fence around it? With the fact that we know the pig was tampered with this prior winter? Will there be cameras where they're not gonna be able to tamper, so if they do tamper with it, we know?
Well, we'd have to add that.
I was out mowing the yard the other day, and the kids are using, grain bins for little houses now. I found a phone on him mowing the yard and everything.
Really?
Going to the grain bins to dispose of stuff, kids, they got trails back through there.
So I think we need cameras back there also, please. I mean, we need to protect what we are paying for. With having that generator, as you said, when we had that storm in February, will that then let this be used as a warming shelter where community members can come in here, use the bathroom, wash up, have a cup of coffee?
Throw out a bedroll.
Well, I mean, if that's what needs to be so that somebody is warm,
It's gonna be for the community.
okay.
Definitely.
I mean, I know we need it to help us, but I think that I wanted to know that it was gonna be a shelter for the community members, whether it's Coral or Trufant, anybody in Maple Valley,
That is the main reason,
okay?
in an emergency.
And with that Google Voice thing, should that not also include the person that rents out the town hall? Because if that changes, then you're not having to keep changing a phone number, that you could keep, that could continue on with the next person.
That is a great point, yeah. Didn't even think about the,
Do we wanna add that to the, motion then? Can we go back and amend that? And find out if it would be, acceptable to her?
Because then wouldn't that also tie her in with an email, would make it easier for people to contact her if they wanted to rent the hall? I guess that's what I'm just trying to think, that it would, like you guys are saying, if you guys, you know, somebody takes your place, whatever, then they have that. It should be the same thing for the person, that's all community related.
Okay.
And when it says you guys that we're covering for the MTA for the classes and overnight and meals, do you guys have a limit on what you can spend? As far as meals, like, for instance, if my husband goes out of town, he gets, I don't know what it is now, cause thank goodness he doesn't go out of town anymore, but his per diem used to be like $35 a day. Or is it just you guys using your card and being able to go spend what you want? Cause I think there should be a limit on what you guys are spending as far as money for meals.
MTA has a, travel policy that has, I believe, a per diem in there, but we can set our own, so. Something that,
I don't know, yeah, I don't think it would hurt us to look at the MTA per diem recommendations, because I do think we should have some guidelines in place for the spending.
okay.
Thank you. And one last thing. Last month, Ann had brought up moving the Veterans Memorial to the park. Personally, I think that's a fabulous idea, because really where it's at, you drive past it, you don't see it. You would see it if it was at that park, there's more people there. But once again, do we know anything on what we own of that park, or has there been any more as far as what they're signing over, or what they're, I mean, I think it'd be a fabulous idea, but I don't think it should be done until actually we know, just the same as Coral, what we own. I mean, we need to know what we own and not go putting it on a section that ends up being Peterson's, and then when it's done, they decide they don't wanna no longer give it to the park. Then what's gonna happen with that? That's not fair to the veterans. That's not fair to anybody. So if it's gonna be, I think it should be part of our township park, but I think we need to know. So has there anything been done on that yet?
No.
Okay.
We have not moved forward.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you ought to call that person and talk to him.
I will. Or I'll stop over and have coffee with
Or it could be done in a community forum where we all know.
her.
Or I could just talk to the supervisor.
Yeah, I'll stop over and talk to you, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love
And
to do
don't
that.
geez me. Man, oh man, you guys, I've been real patient. It's my 3 minutes now.
Give me 3 minutes.
I've been really patient. I've been trying to give you a chance. I'm seeing where you're getting more comfortable with the job and it feels better. But I am a little tired of some of the snarkiness sometimes about different things that have happened in the past. Not just the current past, but from the 91s. When you know better, you do better. Apparently they didn't know better. So let's give them some grace. I am just frustrated about a few things as far as the way people get treated and get talked to. And I think it's time that it changes, because that was one of the things that you wanted to see changed. So stop, people, please, snarking, going, and all this other jazz when people are trying to make suggestions, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't agree with it, if you've got a better idea, bring it up, because you all get the chance to bring things up too. That'll do for tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Get all that? Whew.
Just like I did for everybody else.
Yeah,
And it's gotta work for everybody.
Yeah.
not just
Goes
yeah,
both
right,
ways.
and,
If she can't do what she's saying that we need to do, don't do it, because if I hear her do it, I'm gonna do it. Just FYI.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Boom.
Second. All in